Thank you for listening to Footnotes, a Fellowship Mosaic podcast. This is a space for us to dig deeper into Scripture, what is happening in our community and culture, and continue the conversations we start on Saturday nights. We're excited to have you join us as we pursue truth, holiness, and redemption together.
Well, hello, and welcome back to Footnotes. It's Nick here with Mr. Matt Noetzel.
Hello.
Hi, Matt. Hey, so we wrapped up the Psalm series this past Saturday night with you teaching on Psalm 22, the Psalm of the Messiah. My God, why have you forsaken me? I thought it was a really wonderful and powerful night. And one of the questions that we were joking about, but also sincerely talking about on Monday, was your reference to being feeling seen by Jesus quoting song lyrics all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more. Why do you think song lyrics are particularly meaningful for you? Why is that a way that you process the world in a particularly poignant way?
Maybe the starting with examples that come to mind, and then maybe the thought will form around those. I was at home the other day and said, Langhorne Slim has a song called "Life is Confusing and People Are Insane," and that's basically the chorus line.
Can you say the name of that band again, please?
The guy's name is Langhorne Slim.
It's a person. Okay.
Yeah, and he's like a more folksy singer-songwriter, but okay. That's his lyric in the chorus, and I just said, there was some conversation Kara and I were having where I just said, "Life is confusing," and Ruthie from the other room, having listened in on the conversation, said, "And people are insane." And it was just discipleship's happening in this home. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's happening. Anytime something feels very circular, if it ends back where it belongs, Me Without You's got a song called "All Circles," and it's all circles presuppose they end where they begin, and even in their ending, or even in their leaving, only in their leaving can they ever come back around. All circles presuppose. It's weird to quote lyrics.
Sure. Oh yeah, without the melody, it's tough.
And so anytime something feels very circular, where it's like we just talked, like in a meeting, if we've talked for an hour and we end right back where we both started the whole thing, in my head I'm just singing "All Circles" because it makes sense of the circular nature of that conversation. So I think in part it is that there's something about the way that God has wired people's brains toward melody and memory, because strangely I'm also not somebody who listens really closely to lyrics. Like, as a guy who loves metal, I'm really content to not know most of what's being said, because it's like functioning as an instrument in my experience of it. And occasionally I'll catch lines and it'll make me want to dig in deeper, but then other times I'm just like, oh yeah, no, he sounds tough and that's cool. I like this. And I'm also somebody who doesn't necessarily, I talk a lot with friends about, I wonder if ADHD had something to do with memory formation, because I just don't have a ton of childhood memories or things. I don't know, It's not trauma or anything. I have dug into it, and it's just no, I don't know. I just don't store memories, I guess, is in the same way that other people I know have seemed to. I having gone to some of the same classes as Colin when he was here, and having sat in the same conversations as you and him both have a recall for things you've heard and learned that I just don't have. And it's infuriating at times, but so there's something about music that maybe seems to get at a different part of my brain. So if memorizing scripture is hard, memorizing it to song has been effective. We listened to Randall Goodgame is a musician out of Nashville, but are these their real names? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Randall Goodgame is the guy, but he writes under Slugs and Bugs. And so,
I know Slugs and Bugs.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah. And so they did mostly silly songs to begin with, but then they started a series called Sing the Bible, and it was just scripture set the song. And I have memorized more scripture because of those than maybe any other effort I've ever put forward. So there's something to the way that music can really shape a heart, shape a mind. And there's something there, I guess, too, about the the danger of music, or like when I think about as we gather as a church, like how important it is to sing the right songs that really like shape our theology, because whatever we're singing is making its way deep into our heart. People will have trouble quoting anything I said the hour later at dinner, much less a year later, but I can still sing like the lyrics and choruses to songs I sang in high school when I came to church here the first time. So one that came to mind the other day was, do you remember breathe deep, the breath of God? And then I think the verses were just like weird people, like weird collections of people that would be worshiping the Lord. That's a very Murray song for sure.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know that reference, that would be Murray Williams, the FSM worship leader that Matt Noetzel and I grew up under. He's a wonderful human being. Murray actually discipled me in worship leading when I was a ninth grader.
That's fun.
He did a summer worship leading course, and it was like the first time I learned about everything. He's a cool guy. Yeah, I think I resonate with that experience, and for me, this is going to be a really great juxtaposition of our personalities, because what immediately came to mind when you were talking about metal was musical theater for me, and
it's very good.
And it is amazing. I mean, I'm a person who generally struggles to be in touch with a lot of my feelings, and there's certain things that just break me. And Cassie and I haven't seen the new Snow White, the live action Snow White yet, but I was told I needed to hear it's Rachel Ziegler.
Okay. Yeah, not it. Yep.
And so somebody had told me, I was like, it was actually Scott Jones when I was with him. He said, dude, he was talking about Rachel Ziegler singing the song Waiting on a Wish in that movie. And I came home, put it on for Cassie and I to listen to, and she and I both were in tears at the end of it. There was just something about the way she articulates what she's going through in that song that was it was really powerful. And to that point, I have noticed, I'm curious if you've had any similar experiences, when I sit down with people and am talking about God and spirituality and what they're walking through, for the most part, the thoughts, feelings, and perspectives that people have on God, most of the time what I feel like they're echoing back to me is our worship music. Those are kind of their instincts of talking about God. I think the things that we sing do shape our theology at least as much as any sermons we ever preach.
I would say my approach in appointments is often shaped by the music I have listened to. I feel like I am a product of the willingness to hear people's perspectives that are different than mine, because I've listened to people's perspectives that feel different than mine and have challenged me, and I feel less threatened by what you're talking about that you're saying is normal and normative for you feels very foreign to me. It feels far less foreign, and I'm far less scrambling to get out of it. I'm just no, yeah, makes sense you'd think that. And is this what you're talking about? And I'm often able to kind of fill in what they're saying before kind of looking for a new direction to go. So this is a turn.
I'm excited for a turn.
You were laughing about band names.
Yeah.
You have been in a series of different bands.
Oh gosh, are we going there?
I was just you have been involved in music in lots of different ways. So is there a favorite lyric from a project you've been involved in that has stuck with you in that same way I've been describing?
Oh man, something like a band I was in?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can go back into much earlier Nick years. There was a song that I wrote when I was in college for a band that I was in.
Called?
The band name was the Christmas Fuller Project.
Yeah, so Randall Goodgame's not a weird name.
It's not. No, you can go look that. Yeah, we are on Spotify, guys. So everybody go check out the Christmas Fuller Project. We get about 3 cents a year in revenue from that Spotify.
So good.
Spotify account. And there was a song I wrote that we were trying very hard to be profound. And so the name of the song was "I Know You're Gonna Break My Heart, But I Choose to Love You Anyway." And so it was a narrative about someone finding their spouse in infidelity. But one of the ideas of the song was like they always knew this day would come, and it was kind of a Hosea story a little bit. Like,
Okay.
I have always known this moment was coming. I chose to marry you, chose to be faithful to you, knowing this was going to happen, and I still choose to love you. Yeah, and so like the chorus just said, "I've been here before, I've been here before," and so that reflection on like God's patience, I often think about. For me, it was really important. Not only God forgiving me after the fact, but actually the fact that he chose to forgive me on the front end.
Yeah.
Like knowing everything I was going to do, seeing it all ahead of time and going, yeah, I choose Nick. Knowing all of Nick's flaws and knowing all the ways Nick's going to betray and hurt me. I still choose him. And it still hurt. Like it still hurt the heart of God. And so, yeah, that idea was one that I spent a lot of time thinking on and chewing on. We had some sillier songs too, like Captain Webb versus the English Channel, a song about the great Captain Webb being the first man to swim across the English Channel. So, yeah, it's quite a journey with the Christmas Fuller Project. Cassie is also featured on that album, by the way. So listen for those soaring siren vocals in the background there. So, yeah, that's a wonderful journey we went on. So everybody's thinking this is the most wandering Footnotes episode that's ever happened.
Yeah.
In sum, I think one of the things that I am trying to grow in personally, and maybe I think just thinking about our singing time in service as prayer. And that is a shift for me that I have to like, as an ADHD person, and as a musician who loves like everything instruments are doing, it's very easy for me to be all over the place mentally during singing. And so that shift and that idea that like God ordained, that's the thing the Psalm books show us, like God ordained us to sing our prayers. And that is, we often will talk about like different elements in service. Like we have our praise and we have our teaching and we have the Lord's Supper and we have prayers, and recognizing the singing as prayer. That is part of what we are engaging in when we begin to worship, is that is our prayer time with the Lord as a body. How does that work, like experientially for you in a service? How do you go about engaging the praise and worship time?
I'm also a person that can get kind of lost, like staring at Andy picking away or staring at Luke, just like
crushing on drums.
Yeah, hitting stuff and trying to figure out what is happening where. But as there are certainly songs that I sing out of the duty to the people next to me, that I'm participating in just singing, that aren't really my songs. And I can't say that's every song, because I know that I like beat hey, there's lots of loud music out in the world that's very good drum a lot, but I'm not so reductionist as to be exclusively in that camp. It's sort of I'm just opposing everything I see around me. If everybody swung metal, I would probably get into some weird jazz fusion or something just to prove a point. But I was listening to a Spanish jazz fusion album last night. It was very good. I can't think of the band name now, but
it's probably a really good band name.
Yeah. Grandma's Toes.
Oh, yeah.
It's
good.
Not that.
In Spanish.
Yeah. Los dedos de mi abuela. I think dedos is fingers, maybe, or digits. Yeah, because dedos de pie. Anyway. Yeah, this is a wandering one for our friends and family members. I've lost the question now, laughing at Grandma's Toes.
Engaging worship in service. Where's your head and heart space?
I think in the same way that when I listen to music, if there is a lyric or a segment of a song that just like resonates with me, metal songs, it's often a breakdown, and that's where the pace slows. They'll sometimes go halftime. Everything kind of opens up, and it just feels like deep and heavy and intense. In worship songs, I think it's normally a lyric that strikes me, and I find myself like wanting to think about or sing about.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I'm a person who feels a a pause about getting swept into the emotion of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also can recognize that there is something earnest about the emotion of the thing. And if I'm kind of aware of what's happening and I'm like, no, there's a swell here in the song, and even the lights have changed and they've done a diamond and they've paused, the whole band has dropped out for a second, and then they're all coming back in with some kind of strong moment that I can go like, the song has guided me to think about this moment. What are they saying here? And do I agree with it? And if it's a really hopeful line about where my affections might need to lie, that sometimes directs me there. If it is a line that's really earnest about my own condition, whether that's forgiven and kind of the hopeful piece of that, or whether it's just really aware of sin or falling short, I feel really grounded, kind of normalized there, reminded that I'm part of the human race as well. And so, yeah, I think I often am singing songs, I think in maybe the same way I assume lots of other people do too, where I'm sometimes not thinking about what's being said and I'm taking in what's going on around me, or I'm singing along, but I'm like really stuck on something said 10 minutes before.
Sure.
And or I'm not thinking about anything happening in service and I'm trying to process something from the week, going like, I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now, but perhaps it's a thing I need to bring to the Lord. So
yeah. You one of the things you're talking about there, that tension about the kind of swept up in the emotion of the music of the art. I remember someone, I don't remember who said this, I should probably go try to find it, but I heard someone once define manipulation as when you are trying to move someone in a direction that is either deceptive, like you act like you're moving them one way and you're moving them a different way, or you're moving them in a direction that ultimately is not for their good and something they wouldn't choose.
Yeah.
That's manipulation. But if you are using means to move someone in a direction that you're honest about where you're trying to move them, and it's for their good and they're able to really choose it, that's not manipulation. And so when a spouse does a romantic gesture for the sake of wanting the other person to feel loved, that's not manipulation.
Yeah.
That's genuine, because the intention behind it is for the other person's good and it's honest and sincere. And so I often think about that with art. Music and art has the ability to move our emotions in a big way, to move our affections in a big way. But there's also a lot of trust there in the people who are doing it, that what they're doing is honest and what they're doing is for everyone's good in the room. And so, and it's true. And so I think when art is being done, everybody in the room agrees what we're doing. So there's no manipulation on the one hand. If everybody goes, no, what we're doing is we're doing this art because we want it to help our affections point toward the Lord.
Yeah.
And it's for everyone's good, and it's true. That feels like a good use of art to me, when it's honest, true, and it's for everyone's good.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing, I guess, in the experience of worshiping that feels independent of song but feels as a part of the Saturday night experience is, because I was sitting here thinking about some of like the most profound feeling worshipful, but knowing it, this is not worship, but my heart feels stirred in a similar way. So what's happening here? And it's often been at shows of bands that I like follow deeply, know the songs, know the lyrics, know what's happening, and I'm so engaged knowing like everybody else around me shares this same like affection. So this is like, I'm in a crowd of strangers, but you maybe know me in a way that a lot of the people close to me don't know me, because if I start a lyric, you can finish it. If I reference something, you know it too, and you hold an affinity for a thing I love deeply. When I'm at church, when I'm in that space, because the songs are different every week, we're not singing some kind of catalog of like, you wrote this song 20 years ago and you're still playing it on the road every night because it was your biggest hit. Like, that's not the experience of sitting in a worship service. But what is the experience is the affection that feels stirred in me as I consider the people that I see around me and go like, I know your name, I know some part of your story, I know as I've been sitting in the worship services and I've not interacted with you, but you're on stage sharing something, and now I feel I know a little bit about you and what the Lord's done in your life, and so I feel a warmness about what God is doing in our midst. Or I've like walked with you. You're a good friend of mine, or somebody that I've been ministering alongside, and I know something about just how God is showing up for you, and that stirs my affections too. And so some part of the worship experience for me in song is the I guess it's funny, I'm struggling to put words to it, but I think it's just like love rising up in me for who God has put around me in that season. Sometimes I find myself like remembering people that have been here and going like, man, I miss that person. I know they're doing well in this other place, or they've passed on and I miss that person because they were influential to me. But a lot of times it is really present in who is physically around me at that moment, and just some gratitude for who God has been there. So
that's good. Well, I think if I have any like takeaway from this meandering conversation, I think one of it is like invest in our time in worship. Like when you come into that room, when I come into that room, choose to be fully present as we sing and with the people around us. That's a time to really engage with the Lord and the community, and that's something I have to make a conscious choice to do every week. I am easily distracted, and one of the ways I even do that is trying to create a playlist on my phone of songs that we regularly sing, and even that I build a little bit of experience with the music we sing, so those songs can gain some meaning to me a little bit, so that I come in with some connection with what we're singing, with the people around, because I do think that I remember I believe it was Tom Hanks in an interview. He said when people talk to him about his movies and the things they love, he said ultimately the most powerful experience that people are trying to articulate is me too. Like that thing I saw you portray, I feel that too.
Yeah.
And he said that's one of the most powerful experiences in a person is with like what you were describing at that concert. Like you realize, oh my gosh, that person has this same passion for this band I do. But that also requires community. And as you're saying, like it's knowing the people around you that makes that worship experience really meaningful as you're recognizing, hey, I'm sharing a similar struggle and walk with the Lord that you do, and we get to go to him together. And that's pretty special. That's a pretty odd cultural thing. And yet beautiful thing that we do, that every single week we get together with a bunch of people that otherwise we might not have a good reason to be around. And we say, hey, me too. Like we're walking with the same Lord, trying to follow him together, and we're going to celebrate that together and try to grow together. And that's a pretty cool thing. So,
yeah. What good is just one note? One note sounds fine, I guess. We were all once one notes. Yeah. Good lyrics. Coming to mind. Torches together.
Torches together.
We'll be torches together.
Okay. Well, there it is. That sounds like a good place to close. So thanks, Nate. Thanks for processing. And thank y'all for listening to Footnotes. Have a great week.